I started trying to buy higher quality clothing about 6 years ago now. That's when I got my first salary job. I had a 401k, I was bringing in some money, and I decided to, stop buying just the cheapest thing available at Salvation Army or H&M or whatever it was. And so I want to talk about what I've bought over the past couple of years, things that I think have really proven themselves great investments, things that I've had a little bit more trouble with, to give you some insight if you're thinking about starting to buy some designer pieces yourself. This video is brought to you by Squarespace. Squarespace is a great tool to build your own personal website. I want to try working backwards in time, so I'm going to start with some of my earlier pieces and then end with some of my newer purchases. I got this coat, sorry, I just took it out of its little winter storage, so it's a little wrinkly. I got this coat in 2018 off of eBay for about $120. I didn't even, I think, realize it was designer. It's Bill Blass, who is a classic American designer, if you know Bill Blass. Not really around anymore, but was very impactful in his time. I think he was most popular in the 80s, 70s, and 80s. It's reversible, which I love because this is my winter coat. I kid you not, ever since I bought this coat, I wear it every winter as soon as it hits like below 40 degrees. In the 30s, even in the 20s, sometimes in New York, this is the coat I'm wearing. I don't care if it looks a little goofy. A lot of people say it looks like I'm wearing a comforter. When it's warm out, I can wear it open like this and it looks very cool. But when it's cold, sorry, I have to get my microphone. When it's cold, you best believe I'm buttoning this up all the way. My dad made fun of me for it for a while when I first bought it. He was like, "What are you wearing? That is so ugly." But like, the thing that really sold me on it is in the eBay listing, it said, "No cold gets through this." And they were right. I love it. Just for context, when I bought that coat in 2018, $120 was a lot of money for me, and I thought a long time before I bought it. I think it was in my watch list on eBay for months, maybe even a year before I actually sprung for it. And I have gotten so much use out of it. It was an amazing purchase in retrospect. And it's held up wonderfully. Like, I've barely had to do anything with the buttons. Like, it's essentially in the same condition now than it was when I bought it. There's a little bit of a time jump between that coat and this coat, which was my next designer outerwear purchase in 2021. Obviously, the pandemic takes up about half of that. I, at that point, was on TikTok, and I did start learning about Japanese designers. So when I saw this, it's a Y3 jacket, I really was thinking that I didn't have anything like it. Like, I didn't have anything in plaid. I didn't really have a short puffer. It's sort of a puffer. It's like a wool puffer almost. And again, I thought about it for a while because this was nearly $200. I believe it was like $180. And again, for me, that was a lot of money. So I really thought about it. I sent it to a friend of mine who is very fashionable, and she was like, "I don't know, I think you should get it." So I wound up with it. It is super funky. As you can see, this is the back. Let me put it on. So this is it on and buttoned up all the way. It's very warm. However, it does have this huge cutout in the back. So sometimes I do feel like a little bit of the breeze here, but for the style of it, I'll take it. So some information about Y3. It's a collaboration between the Japanese designer Yohji Yamamoto and Adidas. It began in 2002, 2003, and this piece specifically, I believe, is from 2011. The weird thing about it is because of this ribbed material, sometimes when I grab it quickly, I actually do think this is the collar, and I have put it on upside down. Actually, many times. Like, I put it on upside down yesterday by accident when I was like leaving a glasses store. But I'm also like, maybe it was on purpose that it works upside down, because look, I'm literally wearing it upside down right now. These are the pockets. Now they're, I guess, horizontal instead of vertical. But I do feel like the back doesn't look right, so it's like obvious that you can't wear it upside down. But doesn't it look good in the front? I go through phases with that coat. I feel like 2022 I was wearing it a lot. Last year I didn't, and then this year I'm wearing it again. So it's not as much of a go-to as my Bill Blass puffer, but I think it's standing the test of time. Weirdly, the thing that bothers me about it is that it's a large, and I sort of wish it was a medium. I wish it was like just a little bit more snug, but it is ultimately very warm, and it's good for biking. It's better to have a short coat when you're biking, so I wear it to bike. This next purchase is probably my most controversial one because it is, maybe to this day, one of my most expensive purchases. It was nearly $500. Is that true, or was it nearly $400? Let me check on eBay. It was nearly $400. So it was like $387, not including shipping. So let's say it was $400, which again, now at this point in time, it's 2022 that I bought this coat. Expensive purchase, expensive purchase. Every year you can see I go for more and more expensive things. I feel like you sort of train yourself to be desensitized to it. That's a slippery slope. So warning number 1, don't let yourself get desensitized to expensive purchases. However, as you see, I buy these like once every year, once every 2 years. In that case, it was like once every 4 years. You know, a coat is an expensive purchase, and I think in some ways it should be. You should not be buying coats every year. Anyway, here it is. This is an interesting purchase because it is a runway piece. I mean, I don't think they wore this specific one on the runway, but I have a picture of this piece on the runway. Like, this was a piece that they showed in the Yohji Yamamoto show. And I think when I bought this, I wanted it to be like my quintessential winter black wool coat. Great to have a long black wool coat, goes with everything, you throw it on, very easy. Because there are so many design elements to it, I was struggling to make it that coat. I was struggling to just make it my everyday coat. So weirdly, my first issue with it is that it felt a little witchy, like it felt a little bat-like, which I know bat-like is like the Yohji Yamamoto thing. If you don't want to look like a bat, why are you buying Yohji pieces? But it felt a little bit too costumey to me at first, something about the raw edges, and then just this double lapel. And then I kept on ripping open. So like you can see when I raise my arm, it's like pulling on this button, right? So it's a weak point in the garment. And I have ripped these completely off multiple times now. Like 2 or 3 times I've had to reattach buttons on the back of this coat. I think the lesson I learned from this is to be really on top of when a piece is a basic and when a piece is a special item or like a standout item. And I really wanted this to be a basic, and I think it's not, and I was struggling with that originally. In some ways, that's also like a mentality problem. Like I think I was like, oh, the coat is too complicated. Like the coat has too much going on, and that was stopping me from using it as a basic. But I think the more I get comfortable with it, of wearing a piece like this in my everyday, the more it does become a basic, because I sort of forced myself actually recently to take this as one of my only coats on my trip to Paris. It was in November, so the weather was like high 40s. Anyway, that helped me a lot actually, because it forced me to wear it every day as an everyday coat. And I was like, this coat is extremely workable. It's totally fine. Sometimes you have to do that because I spent a lot of money on this piece. And I do think it's really cool. I think it's really cool to own a coat from the 2009 Yohji Yamamoto winter collection. I've been using Squarespace for almost 5 years now. I think it is a great tool to easily build a highly functional and aesthetic website. If you're specifically interested in having an online store or selling any sort of products online, Squarespace has a bunch of tools that could help you do that. You can customize your product listings with all sorts of things like videos, images, or related products. And if you're interested in selling online courses, Squarespace can help you with that too. You can sell courses for a one-time fee or sell subscriptions. No matter what your online store consists of, the Squarespace payment system is super easy to set up, and you can manage all your payments in one place. If you'd like to check any of that out, go to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, make sure to go to www.squarespace.com/Persia to save 10% off your first website or domain. So from 2021 to last year, 2023, I essentially got into a groove of buying one Yohji piece every year. So this was my Yohji piece for 2003. I was really into the like short cropped wool jackets last year, and I do think even though they were like sort of hot last year and the trend vibe of it is over, the main issue with buying Japanese anything is the sizing, and that's the issue I ran into with this jacket. It's that it's just a little smaller than I wish it was. It's pretty thin. It's not lined. And on eBay it said size 4. But is that size 4 in American sizes, or is that size 4 in Japanese sizes? I actually don't even see a size on here. So maybe they meant size 4 in American sizes, and I thought they meant Japanese size. And a size 4 in a Japanese size would be better for me, ultimately. See, okay, I can't wear it over the sweater. I mean, this is a chunky sweater, but I can't wear it over. The main problem with me is that I have big biceps, so a lot of stuff doesn't fit my arms, and that's what's happening here. Let me put something else on. So yeah, here it is on. It's just a little tight there, you know, in the back. And here's the thing, you can always ask for information about, you know, sizing and measurements on eBay, but I guess I would have gotten some information on how long this back part is from shoulder to shoulder, which might have helped. I just wanted to give you a quick idea of how I like to wear this jacket. I just think it makes everything a little elegant and a little cool. And I actually think the silhouette is pretty feminine for me. So I'm happy to wear it with something that's like a little bit more masculine on bottom. And then I think it just elevates the whole thing. These next two things, I'm totally blanking on when I bought them. I think it was probably in the last 2 or 3 years. They're 2 Kenzo scarves. I believe I got them both secondhand. Kenzo is not that expensive on the secondhand market generally. It sort of depends on what you're getting. If you remember, Kenzo was really popular. When was Kenzo popular? You saw that tiger everywhere. Was it 2018? I don't know. It was like 4 or 5 years ago now, I think. You don't really hear much from Kenzo anymore. But I just have these 2 sort of like short length scarves. These are probably some of my shorter scarves. I really like this plaid one. Technically the black one is my partner's. I bought it for him. You know, we share everything, but we definitely share scarves more than anything. You know what? Now that I put it on, I remember where I got it. I got it at a vintage seller in London. I was in London this past January, so almost exactly a year ago. And I got this scarf. I wore it last winter. I'm wearing it this winter. I like it a lot. This, I believe, is older than this one, and it's softer. I'm wondering now if, like, this is cashmere. Yes, this is cashmere, this is wool, and a little Kenzo scarf. Really, I'm not sure you can go wrong. So my last and most recent designer outerwear purchase is this jacket. I got it at a Beacon's Closet here in New York City. I believe it was under $200, around $150, $180. Which I thought for like what seems to be a vintage Dries Van Noten coat was a good price. And I think because of that, because I had been looking for a Dries Van Noten piece and I thought it was such a good price, I got it when I shouldn't have. And I'll show you what my issues are with it. My number one issue with it is actually the color. It's this blue, but it's almost like a very, very dark turquoise blue. And I find that it doesn't go well with denim, which is like if you don't go well with denim, and I don't think it looks particularly good with black either. I think it looks dull with black. So, you know, we're really cutting out most of my pants options because of the color issue, which I didn't fully realize until I brought it home and like really looked at it with all my pants. What I do think it goes well with is green, like olive green. And so I have been wearing it with my green pants, but I don't know, that just doesn't feel like enough. Like I don't like pieces that just go with very specific other things. I think the thing that got me about this coat, and this is something to always keep on yourself about, is sometimes even if things are beautiful pieces, that doesn't mean that they'll be good in your closet. And I think I had beautiful piece eyes, heart eyes when I bought this, and not will this work with your wardrobe eyes. And I just think it's gorgeous. The construction is gorgeous. The idea is gorgeous. Like it's a beautiful piece of clothing, but that doesn't mean that I will wear it. So those are my designer outerwear pieces. I don't have anything particularly new that I'm looking for. Like I'm not looking to make a new Yohji purchase anytime soon. One thing I have been thinking about in a more general sense is I would like something like the short Yohji plaid coat, the Y3, but longer. I would essentially love to have a statement coat in a pattern with a funky design, something like that. But I'm in no rush to get that whatsoever. If I find something like that 5 years from now, great. If I find it 2 years from now, also great. If I never find it, I'll live. You know, it's just something that I think would be fun to have.